we continue to track the breaking developments coming from Israel, where Israeli forces launched intense airstrikes throughout the evening in preparation for what appears to be a full-scale ground attack. Elsewhere in the region, Iran continues to escalate its attacks by proxy on American troops, leading many to question President Biden's foreign policy's approach. A lot to discuss and unfold here, and joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Keith Self. He serves on the House Foreign Affairs Committee as well as the Veteran Affairs Committee, and he represents the 3rd Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Self, always great to see you. Welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Jody. Great to be here.
All right, we've got breaking news throughout this afternoon in Washington and this evening in Israel as the IDF launches what could be its full-scale attack on Hamas in Gaza. So what are you hearing right now?
Well, I think they have. It certainly seems to be that. But I will tell you, they will be very careful to target Hamas leadership, maybe in the tunnels, but this will not be a war against every person in the Gaza Strip. The IDF will target Hamas leadership and the Hamas fighters, and I have no doubt that they will meet their objective to destroy the infrastructure of Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, I've had a couple of conversations with different individuals. I'd really like to get your input on this, but it seems interesting to me that this next level of the war is occurring just days after the House of Representatives has a new speaker, Mike Johnson, who has pledged his full support for Israel. Do you think that has anything to do with the timing that's taking place in Israel? And what, in your opinion, can the U.S. do to best back and support Israel as they enter this next phase?
Well, I think the Biden administration actually slowed down the IDF attack into Gaza Strip. I'm not sure why, but what you ask what we can best do, we need to separate the Israeli-Hamas fight from our deterrence in the region to keep Iran and all of the surrogates out of this war. We need to have a bubble around Israel from international waters and international airspace of intelligence that we can provide them. And we need to be protecting our own troops. But I disagree with these little pinprick attacks we're doing. If you think back to the Trump era, we had one contractor killed. I believe it was one. He took out one of the most senior officials in the Iranian government, Soleimani. Don't go after the weapons storage sites. Let's prove to Iran that we are going to deter them diplomatically, economically, and if necessary, militarily. Because we need to return to the maximum pressure on Iran. The Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah, Hamas even, in the IRGC in Syria itself, these are all surrogates for Iran. We put pressure on Iran. We stopped their oil sales. We cut their money off. That's how we're going to put pressure on Hezbollah, for instance, IRGC in Syria, and the Houthis in Yemen to not get into this war. We want to deter war in the Middle East, not go to war in the Middle East.
Great point, Congressman Keith Self from Texas. Listen, you spent a lot of time there. I mean, you were one who is very familiar with the region, very familiar with all the players in the neighborhood around Israel. I'm curious with something you just said about the U.S. needing to be very strong. That's what these people identify with, is strength. And as you
Absolutely.
know, the U.S., we had some airstrikes on Iranian proxies in Syria, but the White House is calling this all self-defense. But you think we should have done more. Go further into that.
Not a widespread attack. We need to select something on the edge, probably, since we have this conflict going on between Israel and Hamas, pick something on the edge and make a serious strike against Iranian assets, whether that be a surrogate or whether that be Iranian. Not in Iran proper, one of their surrogates. We want to demonstrate strength, not the pinpricks that we're seeing in Syria. So it's got to be a large strike, and I'm not on the inside now in the Pentagon, But I will tell you, I spent time working directly with the IDF. I've spent time in Egypt. I was obviously in Afghanistan and then Qatar during the attack into Iraq. But we need to make a very serious, very strong move to prove our strength to deter Iran from getting into the war. That's the bubble that I was talking about. It's diplomatic, it's economic, and it's military, but I don't think these pinpricks are the way to do it. We've got to make a strike, much like Trump did with Soleimani.
I think that would speak volumes. Let me I want to play this for you and get your reaction. This is an exchange that Fox News' Jackie Heinrich had with a National Security Advisor, John Kirby, during a White House press briefing yesterday. Play clip 3, please.
The president said that if Iran or its proxies attacked U.S. troops, that we would respond. So what is he waiting for exactly?
He did say that. We have responded and retaliated in the past, quite aggressively, in fact, back in March. And as the president said, we will not hesitate to protect our troops and our facilities, but we're going to do it at a time of our choosing and a manner of our choosing.
All right, there have been 19 attacks. I'd love to get your reaction to this. Did the Biden administration wait too long to respond after 19 attacks?
The Biden administration always waits too long. The weakness in the Biden administration has been evident to the world since the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. They always wait too long. Pick a target, make the strike that will deter Iran. Iran needs to understand that U.S. has the military assets to not only defend our troops, but should we have to, defeat Iran. But that's deterrence. I don't want to go to war in the Middle East. I want to deter Iran from going to war in the Middle East.
Extremely well said. I think you hit it right on the head when you talk about the weakness and appeasement from this Biden administration in the past. And I mean, it brings every reason in the world to be very concerned looking forward as the situation in the Middle East intensifies. Congressman Keith Sell from Texas, thank you so much for joining us on Washington Watch. Deeply, deeply appreciative of your insight. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you, Jody. Great to be with you.